Hi guys, welcome to this quick review about the Mobvoi TicWatch Pro 3 Ultra. That's the latest edition, and that's what I think. I'm not going into all the details. I'm not going to read down the specs. Everybody knows the specs, and this is just a little bit of a comparison. I mean, compared to all the watches which I had, and I had a lot. I'm definitely one of the persons who have tested most of the smart watches in the last years. I mean, I have tested at least about 40 smart watches in the last couple of years. I mean, most of them are simple smartwatches for $25, $30, $40, $50 or so. Some also in the $100 area. This one is $300, but I had already some of them or similar ones like the Sony Android Wear. That was just the original Android Wear 1.0. I had also the LG smartwatch, LG sports watch, which was the first Android Wear 2.0 watch. So I have plenty of experience. What's good here, what I really like, that the watch band can be replaced easily. So I have it already replaced. I can't even remember where I have the original one. The original one is plastic and not very comfortable. I mean, it's not really bad, but I prefer this leather band here, which nicely adapts to my arm. And there's definitely no like wires here inside. It's just a standard thing. You can't really replace it. So the watch is pretty comfortable actually for the size. I would say it's pretty comfortable. And when we compare this to the Fossil Gen 6 or so, which is definitely smaller, it has a way smaller display. It has about similar weight, but this has about the double capacity of the battery. Yeah, when it comes to battery, maybe that's also a very important point, the battery. Can you really expect a really very long battery runtime? I would say, yeah, not so much. I mean, with an always on display and maybe minimal sensors, maybe just the heart rate turned on or so, you can expect maybe with a watch face which doesn't consume too much power, you can maybe expect 2 days maximum. I have tested in the meantime so many watch faces, and with none of them I've been able to reach or get more than 2-day battery lifetime. I mean, as everybody knows, you have to work with the Wear OS app. Here you find everything or most of it, all the settings down here, also advanced settings, and when you go into battery life it will show you something, and here it says it's at 87%. A little bit more than 1.5 days left, so in total around 2 days or so. But when it gets to this point here, you will see the battery usually drains much faster, and usually it's not possible to get 2 days, at least definitely not with this watch face here. But I'm not complaining. It's definitely better than the Fossil Gen 6, but my wife has been also buying one. I mean, not the original Fossil, but the Michael Kors, which is also pretty much the same as the Fossil Gen 6, and she gets a very similar battery life. Of course, she's not using such advanced weather watch faces, and she has less sensors or less tracking here. But still the difference, I mean, it should be like double the live battery runtime. I don't see that. So with normal usage, she can also reach easily 1.5 or even 2 days. Then when we go back here, actually what's really special here with the TicWatch, we have this separate menu. We can click on that, and then we get some additional things, especially these things here, but like the mental fatigue and so. But a lot of these sensors, I can tell you, are really, really difficult to activate. You cannot activate this here. You have to go into the menus and in all the different apps which they provide, and there are a lot. I can show you that. It's a little bit difficult. I have to hold it like this, a little bit special because of the Google payment. There's a screen lock here, so I have it to hold it like that. So when we go into the apps, maybe we can see that here on top there are many, maybe around 10 of the apps which are provided by the Mobvoi like the tick breeze, tick things, tick everything, tick this, tick that. It's crazy. And so you cannot go just to one place and activate all the sensors or deactivate that. You really have to go into all the specific apps and then go down into the setting, and then sometimes you'll find it, sometimes you don't find it. It's crazy. By the way, regarding the sensors, I'm not super happy with them. I mean, they are okay. I would say the sensors are, I would say not better than with any $25 or $30 cheap watch, smartwatch, which you can buy. There's really nothing special. I have seen watches, cheap watches for around $50, which have way advanced sensors compared to this watch. Definitely, I can tell you, I can put down the link of this watch which I'm talking about into the description if you're interested. If you're just interested into like the tracking all the sensors and everything, heart and blood pressure and blood oxygen, those things, there are way better watches around for way cheaper price. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad watch in general. I like it. What I'm really missing here is this wheel here. It was introduced with Android Wear 2.0. The LG watch was the first one which had this, I think it's called crown. So you can go through the menus here, especially when you have a lot of apps here. Then usually with the crown you can scroll through it. I think it's the same thing as with the Apple Watch. And so here you have to scroll, and because of the small display your finger will always hide a little bit and it's difficult to see, and you have to scroll a lot. And with a crown it would be much easier, especially for this menu. For most of the other menus you don't need that, but especially for this menu here. Maybe also to go through the messages like notifications. Also notifications, I would say, works really good. Also talking, use this to make phone calls, also has been working really good. Notifications good, display is good, it's bright enough, it has the automatic brightness setting available. Here we have the normal status screen with everything. That's pretty good. I mean, this is what you can expect. Yeah, one big disadvantage, you have to know that, and this is also why I wanted to make this review, that people are aware of that. I mean, this is Android Wear 2.0 and I'm not expecting a big change with Android 3.0, which will probably arrive this year, but there are quite some limitations when it comes especially to an alarm. When you set an alarm, I mean, no matter what you're using here, I'm using the original clock from that's from Google. You can go into here, that's really good. You can set alarm, can activate, deactivate, change it, whatever. That's really good. But the problem is during the night. What are you using during the night? When you use the most simple thing here, like the airplane mode and the theater mode, which is I would say the best and easiest thing which you can do during the night, and then you can see only this ambient display. I hope you can see that. Maybe you can see this display here. That's the second display which is always on. I think it can't be disabled. By the way, there's also background illumination for that. I think I have deactivated that. You can activate this in the essential modes. You have to go into the essential modes, and then you can activate and deactivate the different colors of the backlight of the essential screen. I mean, I am not using this a lot. I mean, outside in bright light you could see that good, but inside it's really hard to see. So I'm using the always on screen all the time, which consumes of course a little bit of power, but not so much. It's really not much. But again, regarding the alarm, when you have it like this, you have it in the airplane mode, especially in the theater mode, and an alarm will go off. It won't activate the screen, so you have to press here, and then you have to go into the status and hope that there is some alarm notification which you can then disable. Otherwise you even have to go into the app list and go down and into the alarm, and then you can disable that. And that's maybe at 5 o'clock in the morning. That's absolutely crazy. With every $20 or $25 smartwatch you can just press here, like push any button, and this will disable the alarm. And for a $300 watch it's so complicated. This is a little bit crazy. The settings settings which I am using then through the night instead of the airplane and theater. I mean, I'm still using the airplane, of course, but not the theater. But instead of the theater, I go into the display and then turn off the always on display, of course. And also in the gesture, I disable the touch to wake. The tilt wake I have off anyway the whole time. So this is then what I have during the night. So I put this away here again to normal mode. I mean, there are a lot of different watch faces. I mean, there are thousands which you can download. I have already installed so many. It's crazy. Yeah, the thing which I love the most is this weather thing. But if you want to have full function, it's a monthly subscription of about $1, I think. And yeah, so my second preference is the GS Weather watch face. That's also a really nice one. It's $2.99, and I've been talking to the developer, and he has even updated this screen here, so we have the chart even on the ambient watch face. Yeah, actually the problem with why it was not displayed, that's crazy thing. I haven't actually been aware of the burn-in topic. I mean, this is an OLED display and there can be burn-in. So when you have this watch face for too long, there could be some pixel like turning yellow, white, whatever, especially when you have larger ones with more brightness and special things here on the display. It could easily like burn in over time, maybe like this one here, where you have larger items. And there's one thing here with the TicWatch. They have enabled the burn-in protection. And I mean, actually you can go into the settings and then activate developer settings. And in the developer settings, you can activate or deactivate the burn-in protection. But with the TicWatch, with this one here, the Pro 3 Ultra, probably it's the same thing with all the TicWatches which have OLED display. The burn-in protection cannot be deactivated. It's not possible to deactivate. And I mean, I haven't been aware of that. The burn-in protection, I think, if you are not aware of what the burn-in protection does, it's actually shifting the screen a little bit around by, I think, 5 pixels, once to a little bit to the left and down, then right and up. Usually it's not good visible, but here if you have a circle outside here, sometimes you can see, sometimes the part of the circle is then hidden. It goes a little bit here and here and here, and sometimes you can see. Now it's still centered, but if you would watch this in a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes or so, it would be shifted a little bit to the side. So this is preventing then the burn-in, which is good, but again, it can't be deactivated. And if a watch face is trying to detect and then preventing from being shown, especially when there are some larger parts, so it absolutely would make sense, then you cannot see the whole watch face. This is something to consider, maybe some important thing for you. I have also compared the two different screens here. I mean, with the normal OLED always on compared to the second display, which was actually designed to reduce the power consumption, the thing which you can see here. And it's crazy. There is barely any difference noticeable when you check. I mean, I have done so many checks regarding battery runtime with all kind of different settings, and the difference between this watch face and the second screen, which is barely visible, there's almost zero. It's barely noticeable any difference. It's not worth to deal with the second display. I don't know why they did that. For me, it's just a marketing gag. It's definitely not worth anything. I have turned it off even during the night. I mean, when you have everything off, still in the theater mode, it would be still on. I mean, I can show you that as maybe something really interesting. A lot of people are probably struggling with that. That's here in the essential mode. You have to go into the essential mode, and then there's tilt to lit up the backlight. You can see in the essential mode or so, we can turn this on here, then we can go back and turn on the theater mode. I think then it would show up. At the moment it's not doing anything. Maybe we have to turn it on. And by the way, here you can choose for the different backlight colors. Yeah, maybe I'll pick something which is brighter. So let's go again with the theater mode. Yeah, I tried literally everything, but I couldn't turn it on, the background, but or the backlight illumination of the essential screen. But anyway, I don't recommend to use this. By the way, I mean, the screen is working good. It's nicely visible. It has some nice add-ons here, but I like especially the voice recording, but it's a little bit unreliable, unfortunately. The calculator, yeah, sometimes it's a little bit hard to use because it's here a little bit off center, I would say. The weather is okay, timer is really good. There are some good functions here which are already built in, so in general it's not a bad thing. Regarding the charging, yeah, I wanted to show you that this is the charging thing, and usually I don't know why it's always turned around, so I always have to move it around, but it's maybe just a thing with me. But in general it's very easy to use. I mean, you can really feel it. So if your vision is not so good anymore and it's hard to see on which side the pins are, it's easy to feel. But usually I can just hold it like this and put it in the back. You don't have to look in the back, you don't have to align it or something like that. And usually after a couple of seconds it goes into this charging mode or charging view. You can see the charging and the time pretty good. Usually takes around an hour. Of course, with the Gen 6 it's only taking, I mean, the fossil Gen 6 a full charge takes only about half an hour, because this is the double battery capacity. It takes about 1 hour. You have to be aware of that. So with the fossil, I would say in general there is less charging time compared to this one here. What I have found, that's something interesting. I mean, usually here we have the apps. Of course, I think this cannot be reprogrammed. This is as is the only button which you can program for something special. That's the one down here. And as you can see, I have the weather here. In the original setting, there's the fitness activity from the TicWatch, which you can find, of course, here also in the app. Here for me, I have the AccuWeather, but it only works when I have a connection through Bluetooth, and now it seems to be not connected. One really interesting thing I have for you, and this is something which is not documented. I mean, at least when you go into the app and settings, there's only one button which you can assign, and that's the one down here. But there is also another button, and I found this just by chance, because a lot of people are using this button here for the payment. But if you already use that, let's say for the weather or something like that, or fitness, you have also a second possibility. I think you cannot reprogram it, but it's by default, it's the payment through NFC. When you double click here, it will show the credit card, and as long as you have activated the NFC, you can make the payment, and that has been working really good. I've already been using that a couple of times. With my old watch, the LG Sport watch, I had to go really close to the terminal and sometimes try around, and but not with this TicWatch here. So that seems to be very well implemented. That's maybe one of the big advantages because of not using metal case, because probably the metal case is blocking then some of the radiation, and then Bluetooth and everything, Wi-Fi and everything is limited. I would say this one here has pretty good reception. I can go pretty far away from the Wi-Fi, still have Wi-Fi. Also Bluetooth goes pretty far, so I think the whole wireless reception is really good here. And there are also two other things which I wanted to mention. Unfortunately, the screen just went away. It's regarding the pairing. Yeah, now we have it again. You can see sometimes it keeps asking for pairing or code matching with my phone over and over. I can do this 10 times and it keeps asking me. I can't remember how I got rid of this problem. I think I had it 2 weeks ago last time, when it was asking and asking and asking, and it was confirming here, confirming here, confirming, and it was endless. I think I had to reboot, and at some point it stopped asking me regarding pairing. I mean, I have already done the pairing. There's no need to do it 100 times. I've never seen that with any other watch. What's also something which is not perfect, I don't know if you can hear that when I push this button here, I go a little bit closer. I hope you have been able to hear that, despite heating running in the background. Yeah, it's crazy cold here in Florida. Heating has to be running 24/7, and but I still hope you have been able to hear that. There is some clicking noise on the watch when you hit this button, and this is something which I definitely do not like. And I cannot imagine why somebody would like that. If in the middle of a night you want to know the time and you are in theater mode, you have to hit this button to see the time, and you are not alone in your room or not in your bed, there's a chance you wake somebody up with this silly clicking noise. I don't know why this is. I have seen many other watches which don't have such clicking noise. For me, I hope they will get rid of that for the next version. So the thing which I'm really missing the most again is the crown. Apart from that, I would say it has everything what we need. Maybe regarding the water tightness, I mean, definitely an advantage also for the Fossil Gen 6, because it is, I think, 30-meter waterproof or so. This is just IP68. Of course, they are saying, yeah, it's still okay for swimming, but I would never go swimming with an IP68. So for me, it's definitely not for swimming, but I've never used a watch for swimming anyway. What's also, I mean, that's the last point maybe from my side at this point. Maybe I'll do a longer review again after a half a year or a year or so, but I'm almost finished. The only thing which is left for me, that's the fingerprint. And usually, yeah, now at the moment you can see it a little bit, but usually I can tell you when you have just normal hands. Maybe I have some greasy hands, sweaty hands or so, but usually there is nothing to see. You never have to clean the display or so. With the LG sports watch, I've been cleaning the display about 10 times per day. It was absolutely crazy how it attracted the fingerprints. With this watch, almost nothing. This is extreme. I mean, when we compare like to this phone here, which also attracts the fingerprints, here they are claiming that it's fingerprint resistant, and you can definitely see it's a huge difference. I mean, this is really nice, but also it's also same thing with the Fossil Gen 6. It's exactly same thing. So it seems they have made huge progress regarding this anti-fingerprint thing. So in general, I would say, yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's not perfect. It's definitely very difficult to turn on and off all the sensors. Battery life is a little bit less than expected, but in general, I would say it's a solid watch. I'm not planning to return it, and so I can still give you some kind of recommendation. It's hard to find something better than that at the moment, and I'll put down the link to the Amazon listing down into the description, so you can check it out and order it right from there if you like it. And I hope I've been able to help you a little bit with this video. If you have any questions or comments, just write to the comment section below, and I'm always happy to talk about these things. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.